This is Dinesh. Today we will see the pros and cons of mutual funds, and by the end of this course or the video, you would have a overview of mutual funds. That's my goal here. So let's get into understanding what a mutual fund is. Before going to try to understand what a mutual fund is, first we need to understand this concept of public limited companies. So basically, the companies that you see normally, mostly they would be like a one-person company or a private limited company. So private limited companies or a company started by normal individuals like us, right? Maybe a group of individuals. So after a period of time, the company is really profitable and the company has a very good track record, right? What the company does, it approaches a government body called SEBI and asks SEBI to convert their private limited company to a public limited company. So what SEBI does is SEBI gives a valuation for the company based on its track record. And with the valuation, these companies split their entire company's value, right, net worth, into shares. For example, if the company is valued at 1 crore, they would create 1 lakh shares, each share valued at 100 rupees, right? So why they want to do that in the first place is, imagine a company is valued at a company is making good business and they want to attract a lot of investors. They want to open their company to investment for general public. One of the best ways to do that is to do this, right? Their private limited company can become a public limited company, right? So many companies in the world that you see there who are really big are public limited companies, right? And I think you understand the relationship between a public limited company and the shares now, right? So imagine you buy these shares, right? When the company is valued at 1 crore and you buy these shares, you buy 1,000 shares in the share market, right? And then the company becomes really big. They become a 1,000 crore company. Your shares are valued immensely now, right? This really happened in the case of companies like Amazon, Microsoft. These companies, right, they were once small companies and they become really big companies, and the shareholders got rich, terrifically rich. Okay, so but then imagine a situation where a company, instead of you investing in the share market, a company comes forward with a scheme in which they collect money from you and put your money on buying shares. And when the shares become really high valued, the shares are sold, or whatever they are sold, or or converted into something else, right? So basically those shares are sold and you get a profit. This company gets a profit. Imagine they take 50 rupees from you and invest in a share, right? 50 rupees, and they will not invest in a single share, but what they will do is like they will invest in multiple companies. Imagine a mutual fund companies take 100 rupees from you and invest in 10 different companies and 10 rupees each, right? So what happens is, eventually when these companies grow, imagine, let me give a positive scenario here. Imagine these companies grow and your 100 rupees investment becomes 200 rupees. What these mutual fund companies do is, like, basically they take a share of the profit that comes and also give you a share of the profit, right, along with the amount you invested. So what they will do, what they promise that they will do is, like, when you gave 100 rupees, they say they will give you 120 rupees after 5 years, or 200 rupees, something like that, right? So but this depends on the market of the shares, or how the companies who's, you have bought shares from number of companies, and how the companies perform will affect you, right? Affect your investment. For example, you invest 100 rupees in a company and they close the company, then your 100 rupees is gone, right? So this is what they call as market risk, right? So market risk is when you invest on a company and that company doesn't perform well and your share value goes, plumps or goes down severely, or the company closes, right? Your share value disappears, your investment disappears. So this is the market risk that they talk about, right? And if you want to get benefited out of mutual funds, you need to plan accordingly, and try to understand it's not a 1 year goal, it's like a 8 year goal or a 10 year goal, and after that you could get the money that you paid, or you could get less, or it's not predictable, to be honest, right? And okay, so imagine you have bought a mutual fund, and every year you need to pay premium for the fund, and 1 year you decide that I cannot pay the fund any longer because I'm out of cash, I'm out of job, or I'm unemployed. Then you ask the mutual fund company, right, I want to bail out, I cannot continue for 10 years. Then they say, the surrender period is not yet complete. Surrender period is a period in which you can bail out with a small loss on investment. For example, you paid 100 rupees every year for 3 years, so it's like 300 rupees now, and you want to bail out. You ask the company, they say, like if your surrender period is there, like if your surrender period is 3 years, then they will give you around 200 rupees, debiting 100 rupees from the amount that you paid, right? So surrendering is like like getting out of a bus before you reach the destination. Okay, so they won't return you the ticket price, but they would give some amount, right? But many times this surrender period is an important component that you need to watch when you invest on a mutual fund. Why? Because you don't know the future, and you should know how long you can wait until you surrender the fund. Some companies give a surrender period of around 1.5 years, some give around 3 years, and surrender period, surrender value is also different between funds. Some companies will give 80% of the money that you paid, some will give just 50%. So this is a very important component that you need to understand and ask your mutual fund seller, right? Okay. And in case many people get irritated by this surrender period, and what happens is they just think, I will avoid paying the mutual fund this year, and that's all. But here comes the funny thing. These companies are really tricky. What they do is like, every year, imagine you need to pay 1 lakh, and they check your bank and there is no 1 lakh, right? And they see 30,000. Okay, so what they do is like they convert your premium into an EMI, right? And send a message to you. Like they will send a message to you stating that we are converting your yearly premium into EMI, and they say if it's okay for you, plus yes, otherwise press no. And the funny thing is, if you don't press yes or no, it will be taken as a S. Okay, and what they do is like they take money from you. Okay, and that month they would have taken like 30,000. Okay, and every month they will try to take money from you, right? Even though you don't want to continue the fund anymore, if you don't close it properly, they will still continue taking money from you. You need to understand that fact. Yeah, it seems unreasonable, and it seems it would look as if it's unethical, but like when you sign the mutual fund, you sign for this. Okay, so these are extreme risks in mutual funds. Okay, and you would ask me like, is there any benefit in the mutual fund in reality? I should say yes. There are tax deduction schemes in our tax laws. There is something called ATC, which allows you to deduct the amount that you pay to mutual funds in your tax returns. For example, like imagine you don't know what tax returns is. Like I would just explain you very fast. You work for a company, and the company is deducting tax before they give you the salary, right? At the end of the year, you can actually file for tax returns, stating, see, I paid this much amount for mutual funds and this much amounts for my child's education, and please return that amount to me, because as per the tax laws, government should actually give it back to you. So the tax deduction for mutual fund is 1,50,000. Okay, and there are some take it with a grain of salt. There are some things that you need to investigate here further, but nominally the tax returns that the government can give back for mutual funds is 1,50,000. For example, you are employed and you paid 2 lakhs on mutual fund, or 1,50,000 on mutual fund. You can file a tax returns for this and get the money back. So this is one very good advantage. But here comes the tricky part. Now, if you think mutual funds is good for you, I explained you the risks and also the benefits. Where should I buy mutual funds? It's safe to buy mutual funds from websites like Policy Bazaar by comparing policies. So many companies out there, they put their policies in the market, and some policies are really good and some policies are bad. Okay, and the funny part here is that banks have tie-up with some companies, some mutual fund companies, and they try to promote you their mutual fund company partner, right? They try to promote you their mutual fund partner who is not actually profitable, who might not be a good company to start with, but they don't care about this. That's why, they actually don't care about you, right? So you need to understand that. So, and invest wisely on mutual funds. Let me summarize this. So never over invest on mutual funds. Keep your premium under 1,50,000 per year, right? And the second thing to remember is like compare plans. Never trust policy promoted by banks. Banks promote their partners. Their partners could be culprits. Many bank employees are under pressure to sell you this, and the bank employees try to trick you into buying policies. Don't ever fall prey to bank employees' tricks. I learned this from experience, and I made some mistakes and I fixed some mistakes, but I don't want you to make mistakes. That's why I'm sharing you this entire lesson on mutual funds. I hope this is useful to you. Until next time, bye.